Real quick, and let's introduce some of the people that are here tonight. First off, any candidates running for anything tonight in the audience? Kind of winding down and getting ready for 2020. I guess some people are still thinking about it, I'm sure. But I know we have some representatives from different counties, so if we have you guys stand up and acknowledge yourselves, please, we'll give you a round of applause real quick from Wagner County. Rogers County.
Bill Pearson, Vice Chair.
Tulsa County.
Bob Jack, Tulsa County.
And our district, District 1.
Samantha T. Garden, District 1, all that.
In case you guys don't know our officers for Terra, of course, David is our actual state chair, state president for Terra. Eric McRae is in the back. He is our vice chair. Brenda is our secretary treasurer, Brenda Tiemann, and of course I'm your president, Donnie Tiemann. So we want to get this thing going pretty quick. David has some family in town that he wants to spend some time with, so we're going to start this off by letting our new state chair, who we are really, really excited to have, come and speak to us tonight, Mr. David McLain.
Well, I'm honored to be here with you, and I'm super excited to be here with you. I've been traipsing across the state of Oklahoma at a breakneck speed, and we have been working very diligently to get our plan rolled out and articulated to our grassroots. Massive implications on the state of Oklahoma and the representation thereof. We have somebody in that office right now who is diabolically opposed to our conservative principles. Let me say that one more time. Diabolically opposed to our conservative principles. And this is the representation that we have over there right now. It is not good. This lady, Kendra Horn, is for infanticide, the murdering of children outside of the mother's womb after they're born. She immediately went to Washington, D.C., where she sided completely with Nancy Pelosi, putting on a white suit in solidarity with the Progressive Democrat Party. She has helped lead the witch hunt against our president, Donald Trump. She has voted for, has encouraged and has stepped up and spoken about, she is for open borders. You know, we just had a woman in Canadian County not 6 weeks ago murdered by an illegal alien who was in the state of Oklahoma, obviously illegally. I was just told over in Oklahoma County, another illegal alien was responsible for the death of another human being over there. You know, it's more than just that, though. It's the human trafficking that comes with it. It's the sex trafficking that comes with it. It's the drug trade that comes with it. You know, we have to have borders. And we're seeing across our state the actual implications of what it looks like to have open borders, aren't we? Because basically what we've had for 8 years with President Barack Obama was an open border policy. Pile on, come on in, become a Democrat, become a high-handed progressive socialist Democrat was the message. Come on in, we'll give you whatever you need to survive on here in the United States. You don't have to have any paperwork. This is the message that has been sent to those people over there. And it's the wrong message. Our president has a new message. His message is very simple. A country without borders is not a country. We have to have border security. It's imperative that we have border security. I don't know if any of you have ever been out to Arizona and spent any time out in Arizona, but a very dear friend of mine has. He spent quite a bit of time out there. And he'll tell you a completely different story about what's taking place on that border versus what the national news is telling you is what's taking place on that border. We have an absolute crisis at the border. We have an absolute crisis in the 5th Congressional District with a Democrat progressive holding office over there. I have asked and I've been reaching out to all of our county chairmen across the state of Oklahoma, purposing to unite this party so that we can articulate, find, and present the resources it's going to take in order to win back the 5th Congressional District. I know there's chairmen who are absolutely on board and involved with this process. And if you are a chairman in here today, and if I have not had an opportunity to talk to you about it yet, and I see one in here that I haven't yet, I would like to have a minute to speak with you here this upcoming week so we can talk about the rollout of the plan for the state unifying us. You see, I've been getting pecked on by the Oklahoman, if you haven't noticed. Not 10 minutes after I took office, they ran me outside, took a picture of me, and wrote a little nasty article about me. Well, you know, that is what it is. And since then, they've continuously pecked on me and the party, the GOP party, state party, over our platform. In fact, they wrote an article that said that the party was at odds with the legislature. Did you see that article written this weekend? I want you to know that I pushed very heavily back on that on a radio show. I believe it was yesterday. You see, we're not going to allow high-handed progressive socialists to drive our narrative anymore. This is why it's imperative for every single county chairman to get on board with the rollout as to what's taking place at the state GOP level. Now look, I'm going to get on board with what those counties' resources and what their needs are. I'm going to plug into them, and I'm asking them to plug into me so that we can work together hand in hand. And what I have found in life is partnerships is what it takes to be successful in business. It's what it takes to be successful as a group of activists. It takes certain partnerships across the state of Oklahoma in politics in order for us to be the most successful that we can be. You all have done an amazing job at unifying this party, not just in Tulsa County, but we're seeing a unification across the state of Oklahoma right now that is absolutely unbelievable. I wish I could just kind of lay it all out for you, but it would take me an hour and a half to be able to lay it all out for you. But I just want you to know what the Oklahoman has said is a flat-out untruth, what I would like to call, and my president calls, fake news. It is absolute fake news. There is no rift between the legislature and the GOP. In fact, our relationship has never been better. As I said on this radio show, the first thing our legislator did was roll out open carry. The second thing our legislator did was give our governor control of hiring and firing the 5 largest agencies in the state of Oklahoma, the department heads of those agencies. That is transforming government. This government is being transformed. It's being transformed by a true conservative governor. And we're going to begin to see all of our legislature are on board with this, with his plan and what's going on. It's really an amazing event. It's an amazing event to watch our tall tower Republicans, our conservatives, and our moderates begin to work together in order to take back a district, a very red district, in a second area that we're in serious trouble in the state of Oklahoma. We talked about the 5th Congressional District, but I want to talk to you about your local Board of Education. Wow. We all know the trouble that we have with TPS here in Tulsa County, don't we? Oklahoma County is no different. And I suspect, as I've been speaking to chairmen across the state of Oklahoma, even in our smaller communities, they have the exact same problem. And who would have thought that Bernie Sanders has been working in our counties for almost 3 years unchecked? What? This is why we're seeing high-handed Democrat progressives or high-handed Democrat progressive socialists sitting on our local Board of Education. This is why we're seeing a curriculum that's teaching a responsive, psychological response from our children and not reading, writing, and arithmetic. We're starting to see these things trickle up into our aged, not millennials, but the generation that's their children are now being infected with this at a rapid rate. We're seeing in places on university campuses right now where they're shutting down completely conservative speakers. That is not good. everyone's voice in this country. We live in a constitutionally represented republic. Everybody's voice in this country is important, and nobody's voice should be drowned out, especially through violence or anything of that nature. So, going back to our local school boards, we have problems there. We have low-hanging fruit there. And we have a plan to take back those local Board of Educations. We will be articulating this plan over the next 5 weeks, down to the grassroots. We'll be doing that via email, video, and other things. As you can see, Oklahoma County has already started a candidate training and recruitment seminar coming up very shortly. I'm encouraging all of the counties to get on board with that candidate recruitment and training. If you are a county chairman and you have never been to a candidate recruitment training seminar, I am recommending all of you come to this candidate recruitment training seminar, because it'll be a good training ground for you to know how to host yours when you need to do it at the time and chance that you want to do it. So I would encourage that. How do we win back the 5th Congressional District, right? How do we win back these local Board of Education races? And how do we begin to balance the scale with real conservatives in the legislature? We begin that balance with bringing from our precinct chairman and vice chairman, that pool there. I was asked about a check and a balance with the party, the legislature, the executive branch. Really, there is no litmus, right? We don't sit down and give a litmus test of Republican. We have a platform. We need to be covering our platform. We need to be ensuring that they cover 80% of that. But I can say whatever I want to say in that meeting. As a county chairman, I sat down with a lot of people who are running for office. I would go over the platform with them. Do you agree with this? Yes. Do you agree with this? Yes. I had never had one of them even say they disagreed with anything in the platform. Not one.
How'd they vote?
Not one. But nonetheless, they did not disagree with it. I don't agree with everything in the platform, and I'm your chairman. Okay? Because I understand that this is a principled ideology. I agree with 99% of it. Okay? As your chairman. So I guess that does put me at 100%. But nonetheless, the whole point is we have to coalesce around that platform. And it's my job to put everybody to the center of that platform. Ensure that you Republicans have free and fair elections. Ensure that you have a way of winning these low-hanging seats at the Board of Education. It's super duper important. If we don't have the local Board of Educations, we don't know how the money's being spent. We don't know where the money's going to. We have no local control of our tax dollars and how our children are being educated, number one, most important. But number two, where does our pool of conservatives come from in candidacy? The great place for them to learn and walk out their conservative values to begin with is at the local Board of Education or in a local city council seat. This is where our local pool should be coming from, of real conservatives who have real conservative values like our governor. So these people we identify at the precinct level. This is the importance of your precinct meetings. We're going to be seeing that Chairman Bob Jack is in the process, if it's okay, Chairman, to say something. Chairman Bob Jack is in the process of getting plugged into these precincts and beginning to rework these precincts at a level I believe they've never been worked before. Because Chairman Bob Jack, like Chairman Evelyn McCoy and other chairmen around the state, have a plan on how they're going to take back these local school boards, city councils with true conservatives that have conservative values like our governor. Does that make sense?
That's right.
So we go in there. They learn about budgeting there. They learn about Robert's Rules of Orders there. They learn about the parliamentary side of things there. And then when it's time for us to reach in and you get a state seat that comes open, we have a proven conservative in that district that comes from the precinct level who has actually walked out their conservative belief and their conservative value that's found in our Republican platform. Does that make sense? That's what that pool is for. It's so important to have that pool of consistency down there and not the pool that we've had right now. Unfortunately, over the last 6 or 7 years, we've taken our eyes off that low-hanging fruit down there, but Bernie Sanders didn't. And in return, our return on that investment is we have the names of our schools being changed. We really don't know where the money's being spent. And we're redefining words like teacher. It's a very interesting concept, isn't it? But what's really amazing is that the Democrats have been able to do all of this really unnoticed and unchecked until now. So my plan and my goal with working with our county chairman is to get them trained to a place that they can identify who these conservatives are, the servants that come from their precinct chair and vice chair, or just from that precinct, who have already begun to walk out to identify those. That's about 3%, understand? About 3% of the people are prepared for that. And so I want to work with our county chairman and train them on how to identify those people. And when they do, we can run them for a local school board. Then as state chairman, I can help push money down ballot into that local school board race. We can hold fundraisers. We can do a whole lot of things. I believe there's some national fundraisers we can do at the local Board of Education. We have a lot of other red states out there, several other red states out there who are in the same position we're in right now. I want to share with you in the 5th Congressional District. Well, let's just talk about the House of Representatives and what it looks like right now in Oklahoma County. Did you know in Oklahoma County that there are 12 Democrats in the House of Representatives? There are 10 Republicans. We are the minority in the House of Representatives in Oklahoma County. Do you know Oklahoma County just elected 2 more progressive Democrats to their city council, another nonpartisan race, that we just haven't lent enough support to our Republicans who are there, and we haven't had the proper candidate vetting at the precinct level to push up our 3%ers who are already walking out their true conservative values. We haven't identified those people well enough to be able to run them for those offices. So I would like to get with our county chairman, and this is a part of the training package we're going to be doing, and I want to begin to roll out with our county chairman on how to identify those people in our communities who are going to be strong conservative leaders in our local Board of Education and our city councils. And I want to reinsure our city councilmen and women and local Board of Education folks that the Republican Party, the state party, is now going to be supporting them, the ones who are already elected Republicans. Does that make sense? That we're going to have resources to help them keep their seats. We're going to have resources available to them to help them be able to broaden their name recognition and do some things with, so that they don't have a hard time trying to keep their seat. A support mechanism. So what I am invigorated about across the state of Oklahoma right now, and I have traveled this state, and we're traveling all over the place right now. What I am invigorated about is the unification that I'm seeing. We're seeing the Tea Party unified with the moderates unified with the Tulsa Area Republicans. We're seeing such a unity pool around the state of Oklahoma that we've never seen before, because we have conservative, valued leadership right now at the state level. Think about that for just a moment. This is your voice. It's very important that you understand that. This is your voice being heard through your governor, your lieutenant governor, your legislature, your counties, all the way down to your city and your local Board of Education. Now, I know I keep driving home our local Board of Education and our city council races. I am firmly under the belief, if we get to work, if we can pinpoint the resources, when we do pinpoint, not if, when we do pinpoint the resources, county to county, and if the other county chairmen and their county committees will come on board and help push resources into the 5th district, there is no doubt in my mind, if we unify all of us together, not only can we fundraise on that locally, statewide, but nationally, in order to pick up the resources we need, not only to put boots on the ground, but to articulate our message across the state of Oklahoma and unify us. I wanted one unified message across the state of Oklahoma. That's my whole goal with us Republicans, is to have us all on the same page in a unified message, pushing the same articulated points from the platform. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because if we are messaging properly, our media is proper, and I'm communicating, and you're communicating with me properly, we are a force in the state of Oklahoma, and we have proven it. We cannot lose. We cannot be beaten in the state of Oklahoma. But in order to do that, it requires participation. It's going to require something of you that maybe you haven't done before. And that may be reaching out to your actual neighbor and saying, hey neighbor, how you doing? And then begin to talk about the values that are important to you. I know I'm beginning to get to know my neighbors a lot better because I'm having to practice what I'm preaching to you. I reached out to my neighbor day before yesterday. He came to me and he says, hey David, what was that election you ran in? How'd that go for you? I thought, well, this is a perfect opportunity for me to try to reach out to this man and get him activated in the party. So I think as long as we begin to do that at the grassroots level, look, if I can say something here in this room and it reaches Oklahoma County before I get there tonight, surely you guys can reach out to your neighbors and spread the word that the Republican Party is on fire, it's unified, and we're looking for a victory in the 5th Congressional District. But not only that, we got Senator Inhofe at the top of the ticket as well. It's imperative that we get Senator Inhofe reelected in the state of Oklahoma, regardless of how you feel about it. It's imperative. So we've got President Donald Trump. We've got Senator Jim Inhofe. We've got our congressional delegation that will be coming up in 2020 for their election. But we have to pinpoint the 5th district. So, with that said, I appreciate your time. God bless you. I love you.
Do you have time for any questions?
I do. I'll take some
Can I
questions.
ask one?
Yeah.
Are you able to say what the financial situation is with the state yet?
Right. So we're still in the middle of a turnover. We don't have a full. We haven't rectified completely everything, have we? So yeah, we're shaking our head no, not yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Now I want to tell you, we have been fundraising though, like crazy, and we have. I think this last week, I believe our fundraising was close to $10,000 this last week in fundraising.
Right.
David, we've talked before about the importance of consolidating these elections. I think until we get these elections consolidated, we will never be able to do what we need to do. I don't know if it's in your power to lobby these people who are down in Oklahoma City, but it seems to me there are very few people who are aware of the importance of getting these elections out of March and February and all that and moving them into where everyone votes, not just very few select few.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and we're seeing right now what they're calling polling fatigue. That's the word we're using, polling fatigue. Well, if we didn't have 11 months of elections, I don't think we'd have much polling fatigue. So I think what we're going to have to do in this sense is we're going to have to begin to reach out and start a conversation with our leaders in the legislature. So I say start a conversation because the conversation really hasn't even been talked much about. So I give you my word that I will start the conversation if you all will help follow up very politely and kindly as we get to the minutia of the conversation and help me. That's
talked to Senator Stanislawski. He announced to our AFP luncheon the other day that was the top of his list for next session. So
great.
He said what he needs from us is we need to start spreading the word and getting people excited about it and getting them to contact their legislators and start asking for it so that we've got some traction once he gets there.
I think we can get bipartisan support on that, because there's fatigue on both sides.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's fatigue on both ends. Bill?
David, I think there's one nonpartisan race that we haven't addressed, especially in Oklahoma, and that's the tribal elections.
Yes.
Specifically, the Cherokee tribal elections.
Yes.
Current administration is top to bottom Democrats, strong Democrats.
Yes.
They came out very strong for Drew Edmondson.
Yes.
They also came up with a candidate this year, Nielsen, Tahlequah Mayor, threw tons of money.
Yes.
Cherokee Nation covers 2/3 of the 2nd Congressional District. And it's $1 billion business that they're throwing it at. We don't get behind these conservative Republican tribal council candidates and Cherokee candidates like we have this time. So I would encourage you to look at that.
Yes.
And for us to move forward to trying to correct some of that process.
Bill, just so you know, I have met with David Walkingstick.
Yes.
I was at one of his fundraisers just recently. I totally agree with you, what you're saying. Just know, a lot of the Democrat money is coming from the nation right now. A lot of what we're fighting is coming from a very progressive leadership that is in charge of the nation right now. And it is absolutely imperative that we get behind the Republican David Walkingstick in order to win this thing. I know people have told me, well, you know, this or that. Well, I get it. I get that. But nonetheless, we have to get David Walkingstick elected. Hands down. He's the Republican in the race, and we need to get behind that Republican. I've offered to help with any resources I can, any boots on the ground that I can, anything that we can do as a state party to help stem the tide of money that's coming from the Cherokee Nation to work against us right now. I've extended the olive branch, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, as far as the upcoming 2020 elections, the party will still remain officially neutral with resources in the primary, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I heard you say we got to get Jim Inhofe elected,
Right.
but yet
Yeah,
everybody's free to run.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
listen, you know how I am.
Yeah,
You know, if you feel it necessary to run.
Yeah.
Run your hearts out.
maybe a snowball's chance, but
Right. I'm not going to put
Yeah.
my fingers on the scale in the primaries.
Gotcha.
But now I'm going to encourage at these local Board of Education nonpartisan races, I'm going to encourage all of our county chairmen. So spread it far or spread it wide. I'm going to encourage all of our local county chairmen, the nonpartisan city council races, as well as the local Board of Education races to begin to endorse. Find the candidate that can win and start running your candidate there at the local level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Governor Stitt has something, a kind of a magic bullet to damage the tribal enterprise. The tribal compacts come up for renegotiation in his term of office, his first term. He's got the leverage. He can change that measly, lousy Brad Henry negotiated take the state gets and make it like California when they legalized it. Their take was 30% of the gross. And the Indian game was still, okay, you want 30% to legalize something that's not legal, and they took 30% of the take.
Right.
He's got them over a barrel if he just has the willpower. And if you drain their coffers, they might not quite have as much money to give to the progressive Democrat candidates like Edmondson. That's why they wanted to own him, because he would decide the tribal compacts and give them another sweetheart.
Sure.
Like Brad Henry.
Sure.
So put it to them.
George, thank you
Put it to them hard.
for the advice. I'll pass that along for sure. Yes, sir. Amanda,
Well, Donna had a question, then you.
go ahead.
What frustrates me, the current legislature, supposedly Republican majority, then we rewarded Mr. Kennedy and Carol Bush with positions after Carol endorsed and helped, took money from Kendra Horn's group. And when Kennedy ran off, he spearheaded getting rid of a bunch of good conservative people. And then they rewarded him to positions of leadership. So I'm not real happy with our current people.
Sure. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Amanda.
All right, first off, this idea of people working together and reaching out and unification of the party is actually happening, because out of the blue, I got a call yesterday from Choctaw County Chairman, Carol Bone, who I've never talked to in my life, just called me to ask for help on a piece of legislation that Bob knew already knew about. Choctaw County, I looked it up, down where Hugo is.
Yes.
So here's this networking of people, and this is just since your election, by the way, is that people have realized, I think we had a lot of closet conservatives who actually didn't have a voice. They didn't feel that they had a voice. And I see the beginning of this networking of what I would call the good guys, for the sake of argument here, are actually beginning to work together. So we can do something, and I want to thank you for what you're doing. There's a blue bullseye on the state of Oklahoma to take it and turn it blue.
Yes, there is.
And we've seen that, because I made the mistake of listening online to the arguments being conducted today in the House of Representatives. And, like what Donna said. So, we do need to recruit better candidates to run as Republicans. And I know some counties are doing an outstanding job vetting, which is not a bad word. You don't have to vet them, but the counties can. So that we actually get people and begin to steer the ship of state back toward where it's supposed to be, because there is this bullseye on it. So I want to thank you for that, and the idea, the momentum I see building and grassroots. And the other thing I would say, wouldn't you encourage those people when you're reaching out to your neighbors to include your pastor?
Yes.
And encourage them to speak boldly from the pulpit about getting involved in politics.
Absolutely. Yes. Lori.
We had a great candidate run for school board here at TPS, in Nicole, and she fought a hard fight. Unfortunately, she didn't win the race. But is something to be done to sit down with her and other recent candidates who have run from the conservative side to debrief what happened with those races, what we can learn from them, and what we can do going forward? Because she came out on top in the first go around. The second go around is when we really needed to get behind her, and I just think we just didn't have the corporate support behind her to go knock those doors. And I think we need to do a debrief, do an autopsy on it, basically, to find out what we can do going forward.
Lori, I totally agree with you, and I think we're going to be doing that very soon. I'm hoping this upcoming week we're going to be able to sit down in Chairman Jack's office and discuss those things and figure out exactly what we got to do better next time.
David, a lot of people, make sure that you come to, if you're a precinct official, please come to the county committee meeting on the 29th. You're going to hear a bunch of this stuff talked about. We're going to meet tomorrow night with all our elected officials, and we're going to kind of start to firm up our agenda but there's a long list of things on our agenda, and one of those things is downloading information from that, candidate selection, vetting. I mean, there's a lot of things I've got sitting out there, precinct development. So please, if you are a committee, precinct chairman or vice chairman, please show up.
And drag your neighbors with you. If you can drag your neighbors with you, drag them with you to the county committee meeting. It's a great place to start.
And frankly, if you're a Republican and you want to come and you're not a chairman or vice chairman, come on, just come on. Come on. We're not going to vote. We're not really going to vote on anything tomorrow at that meeting. But I still think we need to have a big discussion going on. I don't think our elected officials, I don't think anybody minds having some other people in the room.
Can I real quick take on that? If you're not a chair or vice chairman, ask your vice chair or chairman. If they're not going, you can get their proxy so that we have our quorum. Yeah.
David?
Going back to what Donna was talking about, it appears to me that what we have in the state, or at the State House, is really a fight between political operatives or political consultants and their groups of people. So we have Kennedy and Bush, who are run by one political candidate, political consultancy group, and others, and they were going after the others that in the wrong political consultancy group. Has that come up? Have you run into that yet? Have you gotten the wind of that and maybe an idea of how to handle that?
I have not. I guess I just haven't got the full optics on that yet. But David, when I do, I will address you in there. Okay, Randy?
Here's a thought on how to address it. I just wanted the same topic to come up. Was with people like Kennedy who get rewarded and Bush. Would it be up to the executive council at both state and county levels to have a formula and some guidelines that, if Republicans come out and openly endorse the enemy, then they're going to be denied any support And if they're only an 80%er or they're only a 60%er on the platform, could we also say they're gonna be denied support with a kind of a matrix? If they're up against a far left Democrat, you know, we might want to keep the majority if the majority was at stake.
The majority is always at stake, David. Always. In my book, the majority is always at stake. Or Randy, I'm sorry, I said David, but I was looking at D'Ambrosi when I said that. I'm going to blame David D'Ambrosi for that question. But in my seat where I'm sitting, it's my job to ensure that you have free and fair elections. That's my job. My job is to make sure that you have free and fair elections, open primaries, and it's your job to ensure the other. So I'll park that right back on you. I do appreciate the question. There is recourse if a Democrat does openly endorse if a Republican does openly endorse a Democrat, absolutely we will take that. We will take that to the executive committee, and we will exercise ourselves with our fullest authority there. Whatever that authority that is given to me is, I will exercise myself in there. But that responsibility is yours, Randy. Thank you.
Let's give a big round of applause. Before we move on to our next speaker, let's let Brian or Eric come up and give us an